An unsettling but necessary message permeated through the crowd of well-wishers who huddled together on St. Croix on Friday afternoon to honor the sacrifices of U.S. veterans. The word suicide was louder than the intermittent rains that occasionally competed with speakers' remarks at the Veterans Day parade. The topic was an integral part of Carmen Rosario's keynote address to the veterans, their families, and the government officials who had gathered for the second time that day to mark the annual occasion. According to the first vice commander of the American Legion Department of Puerto Rico, suicide rates among veterans are 50% higher than that of the general population, and part of that is because of the stigma attached to seeking help for mental distress.
We look at this issue much differently than prior generations. If we wait for someone to make an attempt before we reach out, there is a very good chance that it will be too late. Veterans value courage, and it takes courage to ask for help. We must be proactive. Act and encourage veterans to seek help before they pass a point of no return.
The community, Rosario notes, also has a vital role to play in preventing suicides among its war heroes. She advised people to be proactive and to encourage veterans to seek help before it is too late. The 2022 National Veteran Suicide Prevention Annual Report does show a positive trend, however. In 2020, there were 6,146 deaths of veterans due to suicide, 343 fewer than in 2019. But the report noted that much more could be done. The American Legion, Rosario said, also works to maintain bonds among veterans in an effort to improve their chances of remaining mentally healthy when they return to their communities after their physical battles have ended.
Very few of us are trained counselors or mental health professionals, but we are capable of listening, referring, and following up. The National Crisis Line still works, but now there is an even shorter number. It's 988, extension 1 for veterans. Most kindergartners know what 911 is for. It's up to us to ensure that 988 becomes just as widely known. By calling 988 now, we can prevent a 911 call later. Homelessness is another tragic outcome that is too often connected to military service. It is estimated that America has 60,000 veterans who are homeless. That is greater than the entire population of St. Croix, Virgin Islands. Though veterans comprise approximately 7% of the U.S. population, they are 11% of our nation's homeless. The best way to prevent a veteran from becoming homeless is to hire one. It is not only good policy, but it's smart business for an employer who values skills, discipline, and patriotism. It is fitting that Veterans Day be observed so close to Election Day. It is, after all, the veteran who have preserved our constitutional rights for 246 years.
Another way for communities to show support is to offer broad-based support with an increased presence on Veterans Day and Memorial Day, a call which came from Secondino Roman Cruz, commander of the American District Legion's District 10.
We left behind our loved ones, and we thank God for having taken care of us while we were away and from bringing us back to our family. So it is an honor to be here today and celebrating Veterans Day with you all. I've seen crowds. This is a very fair crowd that we have today, but thank you. I always complain about Veterans Day and Memorial Day parade because we have to struggle to get people to join us. And it's, again, I cannot be more than thank you.
St. Thomas also hosted a Veterans Day event where a group of well-wishers, including Senate President Donna Fred Gregory, gathered to express their gratitude for the generations of veterans who continue to work to keep the United States safe from war.
Every day, we should honor those of you who have given our nation and our territory the highest form of service by becoming a member of the United States Armed Services. Veterans Day is a reminder of the adage, freedom isn't free. And it's accurate. Freedom isn't free. You selfishly wore the uniforms of the Army, the Navy, the Marines, Coast Guard, Air Force, and Space Force, and sacrificed so much for our freedom. Our nation and our territory owe a debt of gratitude to all veterans here and abroad. It is a debt that cannot be paid. However, we can ensure that those of you who have secured our liberties are treated with due respect.
Fred Gregory was joined by others from across the territory who similarly recognized the value of veterans' contributions to the nation as they left behind family and friends to answer the call of service to country.
You've served this country with honor and distinction, and you did it not for recognition or not for fame, but to protect our way of life. You are among our nation's elite, the less than 1% of America that joins the military. Your selfless service helps to keep this country and its citizens safe, and for that we will forever be grateful. For your service to our country, I thank you.
Our veterans were ordinary men and women until they heard the call of duty and answered it. Our veterans left their families, home, and their lives, not for recognition or fame, or even for the honor we are bestowing upon them today. They fought to protect our country and to maintain our way of life. As we honor our veterans and remember their great deeds, let us all pause and salute those who are currently fighting for our freedom.
We often talk about the veterans and the wars they fought, but we haven't had conflict on American soil in over 130 years. And lately, I've just been thinking about the Ukraine and what people over there are going through. I mean, it was one thing for an invasion and you watch it on CNN, but these people had a level of lifestyle just like us. Imagine waking up one day to real missiles landing, friends missing, nowhere to get groceries because the grocery store is blown up, power's off for weeks on, and no one coming to your rescue. When you think about that, you really have to appreciate the freedom that we enjoy in this country. And that's a serious debt of gratitude.